Hello everyone! So, knocking down 2 videos today. Now we're going to be talking about the Refinement. It's something? A lot of the effects are very basic, or have been seen before, sadly. But then comes in Saber and Florina, which... okay, what? But, oh well, let's see. I'm gonna start with Bartray. This is not in order of worst to best, by the way. There is no clear best, honestly. So, Bartray comes in with a Fury Axe. And yeah, also effective against armored unit. So, Eldigan, honestly, his Fury was a bit less good, because first off, well, his counter was good, but now that Brave Vector is a thing, it's like, eh. And on top of it, he did not have effective against armored foes. While that is definitely very helpful for Bartray, while cooldown -1 is very, very good for Eldigan, at the end of the day, it's not enough to get him, you know, for him to get kills against armored units consistently. So Dark Missile Taint is usually his better option unless you go like Fury or Fury Life and Death, and even then it's very up in the air because it's not that great for him. On the other hand, with axe effectiveness, armored effectiveness, Bartray comes in with pretty good stats. Also, he has one more point of speed than Eldigan, I believe. And that also helps quite a bit, because, and most people won't really understand this, but you can make Bartray quick. Put it this way: speed plus 29 speed is axe. That's 32 speed already. Then you go for Life and Death, 37 speed. Speed plus 30 seal, that's 40 speed. You're sitting at 40 speed with over 60 attack straight up, I think. 36, 39, 55, 60. Yeah, 60 attack, 40 speed. With armor killer. Yeah. That's kind of stupid. You can also use null follow-up somewhat well. So at that point, with this much speed, you could actually just wall the fuck out of Zelgis. Which is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Life and Death Fury has always been a good thing to do with both Raven and Longquin. It works exactly just as well here. His speed is definitely lesser, but at this point it doesn't really matter. You still hit decent amount of speeds. So, yeah, pretty solid. Honestly, I'm really surprised. Bartray was already pretty solid for Arena Assault, and now he kind of just made himself just be like, fuck you guys, I'm even better for Arena. Definitely one of the best unit to work with for Arena Assault if you don't have a solid blue armor counter. This guy is perfect to deal with Tiki. It's usually just a one-shot. And one of the other things you can do is Brazen Attack Speed with Brazen Attack Rest Seal. Yeah. He loses 1 speed because he loses the speed plus 3 seal, but he makes up for it with an extra 9 attack. Brazen Attack Res itself is not great for him because he already has very little res, as you can see. But later down the line, when we get more Brazen, like maybe Brazen Attack Death, this will change. Because he'll be able to abuse his defense a bit while keeping his defense, not losing defense or res from Life and Death. Plenty of good things, really. But still, that's pretty solid. At that point, you're just sitting at 69 attack. Why? But yeah, 69 attack, 39 speed. That's also really solid. Getting in Brazen is not that much of a problem with Bartray whatsoever, actually, because he is so bulky and has so much HP. Fury also helps in getting into Brazen range. Brash Desperation is also a good setup. If someone is running Great Flame or something, you'll still have the speed to completely break through. There's just a lot you can do with Bartray. I know, I think Bartray God Dio, or Bartray Dio God, or Dio Bartray God, someone from Deltrin's channel, ended up making his Bartray, who wasn't even speed plus, 45 speed, unbuffed. Oh yeah, by the way, that's also something I should mention. All the stats I said up to now, unbuffed. So if you had attack tactic, speed tactic, or attack speed rally plus, that's 75 attack, 45 speed. That's Blade Tome level. It's stupid, and it's effective against armored foes. To give you an idea, that's roughly 90 attack against Zelgus. He's getting damn near of the one-shot territory on a plus 10 Zelgus while unbuffed. That's a bit stupid. Well, not unbuffed, unmerged. My bad, wrong word. But yeah, like, oh god. It's kinda nasty. So yeah, definitely really solid. His main problem is obviously mages, but in Arena that's not too much of a problem if you score high. And honestly, even then, only dragons are that big of a problem, because mages can just not attack, let them come close and just one-shot them usually. Though that kind of depends on what matchup you're dealing, but still, you get the idea. He's pretty solid. So now let's move on to Florina, the least fortunate soul of the bunch. Poor girl. Then again, it's really hard to fix her. Effective against armored foes, but she has the worst color for it. Obviously, Zelgus is the biggest focus here. Yeah. If she could have access to no follow-ups, oh my god, she would do so much better. She doesn't. One of the best things, though, about that lance is the fact that since you can just bait foes, something you can do is just run Darting Stance Seal with this lance with Speed Plus. You're hitting 41 speed unbuffed. Even without Speed Plus, that's 37 speed, so you can go Def Plus instead. Increasing your bulk overall is pretty solid. But the thing that makes Darting Stance so good for her is the fact that she can run Brazens now. The main issue that Florina ran into is the fact that she was relying a lot on guard and quick riposte. You can now hit enough speed that, well, you don't need to rely on QR, which means you can go under 70% health. Which means Brazens are not a bad idea. Brazen Attack Def, for example, would be fantastic on her, letting her hit that 36-34, and when being attacked, 40-37. And that's without an A slot in mind. If you add an A slot to the mix, well, say Brazen Def Res, for example. 47 Def and 44 Res, I think? That could work pretty well. You kind of can't work with guard though, which is kind of a bummer, but it's definitely a whole lot better now. It's still very gimmicky because it relies on your enemy being melee, but melee doesn't tend to be a problem to find just because of how Arena works. Now in A for Raid, that's definitely completely different, because that's just whatever anything goes really. But still, just thought it was worth pointing out. Next is Saber. But yeah, Florina is not great enough for me to really recommend merging up. Not merging up, I mean giving her the refine, but it's definitely solid on her. If you plan on using her, sure, you can go with it. Next is Saber. Saber is very strange. I keep hearing people having this weird mentality of, defense specials are really good on him and such. And to those people, I'm very confused how you can get to that opinion. The main reason why I say this is quite simple. You're sitting on a character that really likes to have their special ready. But defensive special, if you don't double back, for example, ends up being like, oh, I get hit, I attack back once, oh, my special is not ready, someone else hits me, oh, no, I don't get the stat bonus, I don't get the DC bonus. See the problem? It's inconsistent. But, while that is completely true, if you think about it, there's other specials that are way better. Though, I'll be honest, at first I thought the AoE set would work, but it does not take the dagger in consideration. The way AoE works and the way the dagger works is during combat. And AoE procs before combat instead of at the start of combat. So you proc it, you're at 3 charge, and that's where the dagger tried to be like, is it ready? No. Oh. You see the problem we have here? That said, if you use AoE special spiral, you can just one tap kill, and just get back to having your special ready, and just essentially say, that's fine. On defense, on enemy phase, I'll have a bit more bulk at the very least. It's not what I would recommend, though. What I would recommend is Bonfire. Bonfire Special Spiral. This is fantastic to deal with multiple fights in a row in enemy phase, because what happens is you'll proc it and you'll recharge immediately at the end of battle, however the battle goes. Which means you always have your special ready. Which means it's a free like 20 damage at all times. Why 20? Because you can run close death on top of it. On top of the dagger, that's 41 defense, 20 damage from Bonfire. It's just a free 20 damage on top of 3 null stats, essentially. Which is absolutely fantastic. And also, if the unit has DC, well, fuck him. And yeah, it's just really solid. You cannot run Vantage or such skills though, which is a bit of a bummer, but oh well. It is what it is. Another thing you can do is run Wrath with Moonbow, which is very typical at this point. But the problem with this is you can't fight multiple foes in a row with your spec ready on enemy phase all the time. You'll hit, you'll proc, get hit, proc again, or proc and it dies, and then whichever way you end the fight, your special won't be ready for another fight immediately unless you wait for your next standby phase. Or not standby phase, your next turn. Why is Yu-Gi-Oh getting in my mind now? But yeah, you see the issue here. It's not bad, but it's a bit hard to work with. That said, with Special Spiral, you can make so much shenanigans. It's kind of silly. Really, really good refine, honestly. It really helped him get to that point where he's not considered complete shit, which is a major plus, let's be honest. That's why I've put him in S-. It's a really good refine, but it's a bit hard to work with. Whereas you have like Moonbow Nameless Blade just absolutely tearing ass, which is just really easy to work with, very easy to just make short work of. This is a bit more of a tactical unit, but that doesn't make it bad. Definitely I'd say one of the best of the bunch that we've got this time around. Now, let's move on to Shanna. And I don't know why they do this. Like I said, it's only A+. A+ is where I consider it worth refining. But let's put it this way, it didn't really work on Minerva unless she had Speed+, so Shanna can definitely use it better than Minerva, but the problem still remains. No Wrath, no Steady Breath, no Flashing Blade, and she doesn't have the attack for Heavy Blade unless you have heavy goat support. Yeah, you can see the problem, I think. The problem is just, it's good for her, it's really going to be helping her, but she loses a lot of flexibility when it comes down to tools. Still, you can definitely use it, in quotation, if you just use it like with Heavy Blade, but like own flyers with maybe a gold. At that point you're at 52. Probably want to have Attack Plus at that point though. You're at 52 with just the own, and with Attack Plus that's 55. That's kinda shaky though, as you can imagine. Still, you can still run Fury, that's 58. And then a gold for 62. Then it can kinda work pretty well. Like I said though, it's a bit gimmicky. Still, if you run Fury, which is honestly the best one to run, you can definitely still run Ploys as well, which could be good, because if you run Attack Ploy with Heavy Blade, you'll have a better shot. But yeah, neither good nor bad Refine, honestly. It's just there. Furry is definitely like the best user of that kind of weapon to this day, just because Infantry, Wrath, Steady Breath with Attack Death Bond with Blue Flame, like there's just so much you can do with Fur and so much less you can do with Flyers, which is a shame. Honestly, I don't understand why Flyers can have this kind of special. Meanwhile, Armored Unit gets everything in the book. Like, why? It's really silly, honestly. There's really not much to say about any of those units, because, like I said, they are very, what's the word? Basic. Saber was truly not basic, but at the same time there was really not much to say, because if, like, the dagger is not bad, but, and it sucks to say, but the problem that he has with the dagger is essentially he doesn't have that much flexibility. Why? Well, think of it that way. His stat line lacks attack. He lacks damage. Like, literally, that's what he breathes. The lack of damage. So he relies on special. But he needs to have special ready when getting into battle. And if you use a defensive special, that doesn't work too well. Even with shield pulse and all. It's sad. But yeah. Still overall a massive upgrade for all of them, except maybe Florina, but it's still pretty good. I really hope IS continues doing this. 3 to 4 star unit and then 1 5-star exclusive. That's honestly the best way to get around it, unless it's like 5-star exclusive, like say Luke, in which case I can kind of understand waiting, but still, otherwise, nah. Like. There's no reason for you to delay the 3 to 4 star pool that are getting weaker and weaker as time goes on. But that's another That's another thing for another time. Other than this, not much else to say. This was actually one of my shortest Refinery tier list updates. For IVs, really, Saber and Shanna likes to have attack plus, Bartray likes to have speed plus, attack plus second, and Florina likes to have either speed plus or death plus. Not much else to say there either. As for the Bane, probably HP, honestly. She can't really get rid of anything else. But yeah, that's about it. I'll see y'all later. Have a nice one, everyone.